I'm pretty sure you've seen the thumbnail by now that said, I saw Biggie in hell, a lady's testimony. And I saw it and I was watching some uplifting videos and something said, don't watch that. And I didn't watch it. I saw commentary on it later on from Marcus Rogers, who was kind of defending it. I like Marcus Rogers and I agree with a lot of things he has to say. I believe he's a genuine guy, man, real genuine. I like Marcus Rogers. I'm subscribed to him. But, he was defending her saying, it brought a lot of people in to the kingdom that wouldn't have ordinarily been there. Even if she did seem kind of way out, he was saying. But I don't think that's the way you bring people in by saying something that's made up, because what happens the first time that new Christian runs into some turmoil and they don't see anything supernatural? They'll think, oh, this whole thing is not real. Based off what they heard, they'll think, well, how come I didn't experience something supernatural like that? You don't need to make up something to bring people into the kingdom. The word and your testimony is enough. You don't need to make up things. Now, there was some things she said about that experience that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way for those of us that study things like tithing and stuff. And she was saying, I believe that Jesus told her that tithing and offerings was a commandment. Someone said in the comments, she had me until I read that. She needs to study before she makes claims like that. She really needs to study. I understand she has a book coming out. So what better way to sell a book than say something big like, I saw a Biggie in hell. And plus, I was thinking, people seem to think that hell just started in their lifetime, like it's, 10,000 people there. Hell's been there since the beginning of time. So you're telling me out of 1 trillion people that are in hell, you recognize Biggie? Unless she's just saying that, she was trying to be something needed to be seen from that experience. Like they specifically wanted to show her someone that she grew up listening to. Because I'm like, how are you going to recognize Biggie and all that torment going on, chaos and pain, and you're like, oh, that's Biggie over there. Oh, that's Mike I went to high school with. How do you have time for that? But be careful which testimonies you listen to, man. And how if somebody's telling the truth? You compare what they say to the word. If it don't line up with the word, it's not accurate and it's not true. But yeah, you have to compare what people say with the word. If it doesn't line up with the word, it's just somebody trying to sell a book, get clicks. People love attention, but you gotta, if your testimony doesn't line up with the scripture that's 100% accurate, then I can't roll with it. And it's alarming to hear something like, oh, I saw Biggie in hell. Now there are people that say, like Marcus, hey, look at all the people she drew in that would have ordinarily not gone to church or listened to anything from scripture. Until she said that, they got their attention. What about the people that were close to Biggie that knew him? Or what if that turned them off? Like, wow, she just said my best friend or the person I listen to is in hell, man. What if that creeped them out so much that it turns them away? Why can't you just use the scripture to get people into the kingdom? Why do you have to, use extreme things, And she would have been, those of us that know scripture, now I don't know everything, I'm not claiming to, but those of us that know scripture and study tithing know when she said Jesus, whose real name is Yeshua, when she said that tithing, and I believe she said offerings, but I know she said tithing is a commandment, I was like, okay, you just messed up your whole testimony. But did you guys hear it? What did you think if you did hear it? Anyway, it's N.W.J. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. And if you saw it, what did you think? I'm interested to hear everybody's takes.